happy new and beautiful day. This is the day that we have made as a collective consciousness. So if you do not like what you see, you have to become what it is that you want to see, be, experience, and express. Happy new and beautiful day. Welcome to Changing of the Mindset podcast, where many different levels of consciousness have the ability to be able to express themselves without any judgment. Let me go ahead and get into these disclaimers. And this is going to be a short live. I'm not going to be on here for too long. I just wanted to, put something out there in the atmosphere to give you guys something to conceptualize and think about. But I'm not going to make it a long-winded live, But I am going to give you guys something to think about. But before I get into it, let me go ahead and get out these disclaimers. I do not own the rights to the music playing in the background of this live stream. It is being streamed for fair use, for news, for entertainment, and educational purposes. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do or how to be. I'm only here to example what it looks like to move in my true essence of authenticity, right? How I understand my now moment. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do. However, I am here to give you guys something to think about. But I'm not here to tell nobody what to do, because you're very well capable of creating your own relative reality how you so see fit to do so, right? And any content creator, any celebrity, any politician, any public official that I speak about on this platform, all information is heavily, heavily alleged. For I do not know or can give an account to what has been placed out there for public consumption. It could be not. I don't know. I was not there. So all information is heavily, heavily alleged. I'm only utilizing the information that has been placed out there for public consumption to use as an example, to use to give an opinion, or for public awareness. But anything outside of that, those three categories, it is heavily, heavily alleged. And last but not least, any platform that I grace the presence on, I move from divine, unconditional love, no matter what platform I am on. And that is to also include my own, right? So with all that being said, welcome to Changing of the Mindset podcast. Hosted by yours truly, Divine Words of Wisdom. And let's get into it. Well, hello there, T-Love. Hey, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I am so gracious and grateful to have you. And welcome. Yes, happy day. Happy new and beautiful day. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, golden sugar. Supreme beautiful day to you, beloved. Thank you for tuning into my frequency as well. Welcome. I'm grateful to have you as well. And thank you for divinely tuning in and being here. I am so very grateful. All right, you guys. Let's get into it. Let me take a little sip. All right. Okay, so what I'm learning and remembering of self. Hi, Your Highness. Hi, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm grateful. Thank you. All right. So in the remembrance of self and remembering self, I'm coming into alignment with a lot of things that is bringing what I would probably call an equilibrium, because you come into the understanding that you begin to integrate with the clear and concise understanding that all things have a lower and higher mind. And even though we tend to just kind of like somewhat segregate it in a way where it's like you're only looking at people, places, and things, because that's where kind of like our focus has always kind of been geared towards. But you even have higher minds and lower minds in symbols and different things of that nature. So I'm coming to the understanding of the polarization, bringing an equilibrium of a polarized experience to understand that things have a higher and lower mind. Now, in the essence of creating my own relative reality, how I so see fit for me to experience it, these are some of the things that are going to come into play. That is assisting me in making aligning decisions on how I want to experience and express the reality. And so therefore there's a lot of, labels that are out there, and there are, a lot of blueprints that are out there that we could utilize and facilitate if we understand what this actually is and how we can make it applicable or apply it to our own relative reality to afford us the reality that we want to experience and express. So pretty much what I'm going to be doing moving forward is, giving you guys, examples that you can actually implement within your own life to begin to at least place you in alignment to the reality that you truly want to experience and express. And I think it's really by understanding that everything has a higher mind and a lower mind, right? Even symbols, right? Even symbols have a higher mind, and it has a higher consciousness of understanding and a lower level of consciousness of understanding. And a lot of things that we have come into integration with in terms of our understanding has been that to which we understand it in the lower mind. And I want to kind of give you guys, both polarities, right? That, it could be, understood in the higher mind. It could also be understood in the lower mind as well. But we've kind of somewhat been fixated to understand many different energetic modalities to that of the lower mind. And we remain limited to think that that's the only clarity that comes along with that particular type of understanding as to which how we originally began to understand it, right? So I want to bring some, sense of, balance to the equation, right? Balance to the equation, so that way, because once you begin to understand that there are divine choices in the essence of the consciousness to the same anomaly, then you could begin to pick and choose wisely how you begin to understand that, which brings me to labeling, right? So to give you an example of something in terms of labels, so I'm going to flip the polarity, because in my initial, in my initial conversations that I used to have about labeling and different things of that nature, I used to always say, I'm not defined by labels, right? I'm not defined by labels. And so therefore, what I was really saying in translation, I'm not defined by labels that I do not prefer to experience or to be called, right? And so many times, we have the labelings that are going on, that I'm a woman, that I'm a black woman, that I am a double minority, right? And I am, a lot of other little labels that comes into the midst of things, that because of how we have been culturalistically cultivated to understand, certain anomalies where those labels are concerned, we buy into them because the majority, or how the collective understands it, make an agreed upon sense of saying that it's true, because it has, such a big backing, right? It has so many people that is energetically invested into these particular sayings. And so we say that it's true, right? But the thing of it is that, yes, it's an experience that you have to make it true, that you have to make true. Okay. So there are some labelings that you may want to be called, but then there are a lot of labels that you may not want to be called. But because we have been conditioned to understand it in a certain particular type of way, we have agreed by that understanding that it's okay, that it's, how can I say, not necessarily okay, but that's just the way that it is, because that's what this culture has, or, this essence of experience in the lower mind has created for it to be. But I'm here to give you a little bit more clarity on that. And it's up to you guys in terms of how you feel about yourself, whether you are going to worry about, having a different sense of understanding about certain particular labels, that you might think that gives you a level of a scrutiny, or maybe somebody might think that you are delusional. You can't go into this particular type of sense of understanding about certain labels if you're going to worry about how, other folk are going to see you as a result of you're now clearly defining who you are in truth, not necessarily by the conditions and labelings that the lower mind has created for you to be in agreement with. So first and foremost, if we could begin to understand that labelings are an experience, right? So, so now you got to begin to understand what type of experience that I am going to be okay with certain particular types of labeling, right? So I want to give you an example of how, you get to choose, how labels are going to either work for you or work against you. Okay. So to give you an example, they call me a black woman. They call me a woman. They call me a double minority, right? They said I'm a double minority in this thing. All of these are experiences, right? So it's up to me to decide whether or not if I want that experience to be a true experience for me. So if I were to tell you, because I got somebody to say to me, well, Patrice, how is it that you feel that you are not a black woman? And I said, being a black woman is an experience, right? And if I identify with the parameters of what a black woman is in this experience, right? By definition, then no, I don't agree with how that label has been labeled. Now, if you want me to agree to a reality, then you're gonna have to change the definition to those particular types of labels, because whatever the definition is within the reality to that particular type of label, I have the right to agree as a spiritual being having an experience. I have a right to agree to whether or not if that's a true if that label bears the truth of who I am, right, in terms of how I see myself. Okay, not based off of who you tell me who I am, is because of me knowing who I am in truth, right? So and this is very key and essential to spiritual health, to spiritual growth, to spiritual understanding, and ultimately creating a reality that you do want to experience. Because just like Tyler Perry says, it's not what you call me, it's what I choose to answer to, right? It's not what you call me, it's what I answer to. So just because they call you a black man, or just because they call you this, and just because they call you that, understanding the definition behind what is being labeled as to who, what they're calling you, you have the right as a spiritual being having an experience to decide whether or not if you want to accept the value of those particular types of labels. Now, if they want to change the dynamic of the labeling to reflect something to which who you are, then yes, you can decide that, yes, okay, based off of with the definition of that labeling, yes, I will accept the value and the experience of that. And the only way you're going to be able to possibly get to that space is to really be okay with the fact that you don't have to be in agreement because the collective mind is saying, oh, you're a black woman, or you are a woman, or you are this, you are a double minority, you are, black people are like, what is it? They say that, we're this, we're that, and all this other kind of stuff. And when you listen to it, like there's a saying that we're never on time, or that, you're always late, or, we have chicken and water, all of these crazy types of things that comes out there, these particular types of labelings. But you have to now sit down and say, okay, if they're going to label me as this, or they're going to label me as that, if that is a part of the experience, you begin to understand the definition of what that particular labeling is. And if it does not clearly define who you are, like in terms of an experience that you truly want to experience, then you do not have to accept that label. You don't have to accept those labelings. Okay. So how do you work? What are the benefits of labels? Okay. The benefits of labels is when you find a label that you call yourself, you label yourself. So I label myself as I'm a spiritual being having an experience, right? And I label myself as a being that is creating my reality, right? So if there is a sense of labeling that is commencing in this experience, it's going to clearly be defined by who I see myself to be, right? It's not going to define anything that I don't see myself to be, and I'm going to be in agreement with it, because even if I'm in agreement with it, I am in agreement with the experience of experiencing an aspect of self that is not truly who I am. Okay, so these are where now you're going to begin to find the balance between the polarities of the labels. You can either agree to an experience, and that's not to say that you have to, you could go on the other end to agree with the opposite polarity of an experience. You can, if that polarity is going to afford you a reality that you want to experience, right? You have to clearly define what it is in terms of the labels and the blueprint. All right, so therefore, let's go into the blueprints, because I'm kind of like spilling more over into the blueprints, because there are blueprints everywhere that can afford us a reality of how we want to experience and express. Okay, a lot of times, reason why we have not, because we truly do not desire to want to have a reality, because we're not ready to dedicate ourselves into the clarity and the understanding of a lot of things that are around us. We just take things for what is being given to us, and we just, how can I say, it's a word for it. We just so cavalierly agree to it because it's a consensus around, our immediate environment, right? Or even a consensus in terms of what our perceptions are within the collective mind. But even though you have the collective mind in agreement with a lot of things that brings the reality more profoundly into the midst of the experience, you still have the ability to create your own reality. Like, for an example, I didn't know that South Carolina was going through anything until I got in contact with a person that is, choosing to be in that reality, to know that these things are going on. It's not a part of my reality. So, to me now, these are clear and cogent signs that, wherever you are choosing to be vibrationally, these realities are going to come in the midst, because you are in agreement with the vibrational frequencies that afford you to be able to experience those realities. So the blueprints and different things and the labelings, you can flip the polarities and find between the two polarizing aspects and find an equilibrium that you can now begin to afford to be able to create realities how you see yourself. The only way I honestly, believe that a lot of people are going to be able to really begin to have a reality that they truly want to experience and express is when you begin to see the value of self. You begin to see yourself in wholeness, and you begin to see yourself in your true essence of authenticity. And I think only then and only then you're going to be able to clearly define how you make decisions relative to how you want to experience your reality. Many of us want to, have a reality that affords us the ability to be, express certain freedoms into the experience, but we're not willing to look at other versions of ourselves that is going to give us a template or a blueprint so that we can have those realities, because we're here trying to do things on our own. But I want to say this, that it's always about being of service to others and of service to self. And even if you have to kind of look at other blueprints that are out there, or other templates of the many selves, and look into those particular types of people to find out what it is that you aspire to experience in your life, that those are reflections of you to afford you to the reality, to let you know that these realities are accessible. So what in the template of the other individual that you can utilize for yourself to afford you that same reality? And a lot of times we don't see ourselves in others because we are so judgmental. But even though they may have some bad things about them that you may not agree with, they may have some good things about them that you could utilize within their blueprint that could afford you a reality that you truly want to experience. But you will never know that if you only limit yourself to how you understand the wholeness of the experience, because there is a wholeness in everything. But our limitations only allow us to focus on what it is that we don't like more so than what we do. Okay. So that's working from the limited mindset, is that you're only going to afford on things that you don't like more so than what you do like. Because when you focus on things that what you more do like, and you bring an equilibrium, this person may be an asshole, but there may be something about him that is also good as well. So if you are moving from a limited mind, you're only going to focus on what you don't like, and you're not going to focus on the wholeness of the polarized version where it can have both like and dislike. Well, hey, beautiful. Hey, beautiful. beautiful Rita. How are you? Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful to have you as usual. Gratitude for your presence, Mama. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. So the labeling and the blueprints, the way that I'm going to explain it here to you is to understand the wholeness and the polarity and finding an equilibrium between both polarities so that you can, thank you, Mama, so that you guys can begin to create the reality, not by what you are told, but by how you want to create the reality, by how you understand and overstand the relative labeling that you have become in alignment, or the relative blueprint that you have come in alignment, or the relative template that you have become in alignment. Because you can both, find within the polarized version of the self, you could both find good aspects of something, and you can find bad aspects of something. And even in understanding the good and the bad, everybody good ain't the same, and everybody bad ain't the same. What may be bad to you may be all right to me, and what may be all right to me may be hideous to you, right? And so that's where you can't be concerned about external perceptions when you are now taking the wheel in wholeness to understand the polarity and how the polarized experience can work for you in wholeness. And that means that, just because somebody else perceives something that's bad, it may be something in that person vibrationally that you have come in alignment with because of how you want to create your reality, that they have the template and the blueprint that could afford you the reality. And all you have to do is basically study what it is that they're doing or what they're not doing, and then it will afford you the ability to possibly integrate in that frequency, so that you too can now become in alignment with those that are going to assist you in this reality, to afford you the reality that you truly want to experience, because we are so divinely interconnected. And the thing of it is too also is that a lot of times we try to do things on our own, and we think that we have spiritual guides, and so as above so below. If you have spiritual guides that are in the unseen, you have also guides that are in the seen. And the guides that are in the seen, when you can see with these eyes, the guides that are in the scenes are those who you come in alignment with, to who you are, to which you are. Right? So if you begin to understand that, guidance is okay, to seek help is okay, to, look outside of the circumference or seek outside of the circumference of what it is that you have been taught and told. It is okay to seek outside of what, you have been cultivated, especially if that cultivation is not necessarily garnering you the reality that you truly want to experience. So, my thing of it is now is being more accessible to those who are ready to come out of a reality that they no longer prefer, and allow them to be able to monetize their talents, right? Monetize their talents and come out of the conceptualization that everything is a competition. All of these many different modalities. Like I told you guys the other day, in the lower mind, everybody thinks that McDonald's and Burger Kings and all of these fast food restaurants are in competition with each other. In the higher mind, they're not in competition with each other. They're in collaboration with each other, right? So, they're all of them are both equally, or if, not, they're successful. They're successful in what it is that they're doing. Anytime you begin to move in essence of competition, just know that you can do that, but that's a part of the lower mind. And so therefore you're going to afford realities that's going to make you feel as if you are in competition with something. And the thing about it is to take the path of least resistance, right? So that it flows, okay? So it flows. So if it's going to allow you to have flow, what allows me to have flow is that I'm not in competition with anybody. I understand that who I am in power carries the weight of its own to be magnificent. To those who are, in appreciation of what it is that I bring value to the table, in terms of how is it that I can be of service to them by, my own self or my own, experiences, right? And maybe there is a blueprint or a template that I possess that they would probably want to integrate with, so that it can be a part of their reality as well. So this is where the interconnectedness comes into act in understanding the blueprint or understanding the template. Hi, Angelina Transform. Hey, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you so much for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so grateful to have you. Welcome. And thank you for being here. I'm so grateful. Thank you for being here. So, when you begin to understand everything. Hi, Rosa. Hey, my beautiful Rosa. How are you? Gratitude for your presence as well. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely, thank you, beautiful. I'm so divinely grateful to have you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. In wholeness, right? You begin to understand how both sides of the polarity can work for you, right? How its opposite can work for you, okay? And so therefore the labeling is what I really clearly want to define, because this is probably where many of us is probably going to kind of feel a little apprehensive, because society has, deemed correctly that you are a black person, that you are a double minority as a woman, as a black woman. Those labels are founded into the principle of the lower mind within this reality. And I'm here to give you a different perspective of all of that. So, when you guys hear me say that I'm not a black woman, I am a being experiencing, right? Being a woman. I'm a being, a spiritual being experiencing being that to which this reality calls a black woman. But do I identify as being black? Do I identify as being a double minority? No, not at the definition that that this reality is defining what black is, or is defining double minority and all this other kind of stuff. So it's the defining aspect of the label that you do not identify with. Now, if being a black person was different and it had a different connotation and a different labeling to it, right, that I could identify with, right, then yes, it's because of how it's defined in this reality, right, it's going to determine whether or not if I'm going to accept that labeling as being a part of my relative reality. Now, we understand that in the illusion of separation, right, this is the reason why you have black, white, yellow, green, and everything, and all this other kind of different races, right, and so that you can experience the separation of self, right? But then at the same token, even though it's in the illusion of separation, the definition clearly states what it is and what it means in this reality, and I do not have to agree with the defining aspect of that particular type of label. And it doesn't have anything with me not being proud of who I am. I'm proud of who I am because I am that I am, and me being that I am is enough, without even having to say I'm a woman, without even having to say I'm a black woman, without even having to say that I'm this, without even having to say that I'm that. I am enough because I am. You understand what I'm saying? So that's when you get to understand it from that perspective, it changed the narratives to how you begin to integrate within your mind, mental, and your whole entire being, that to which labels are labeling, and the definition behind the labels. And if you do not identify with the definition behind the labels, you do not have to accept the principle of that reality, no matter how much a collective agreement is in an agreement with it. Because you are creating this reality. And the only reason why you may have such a profound sense of understanding that the collective is agreeing with it, because you are in agreement with the collective being in agreement with that reality. It's not until you decide to no longer be in agreement with a particular label that does not clearly define who you are in truth, your truth. Because when you begin to operate in wholeness, then you create a whole nother equilibrium of frequency that is going to now begin to create an essence of you in wholeness by your authenticity of how you see yourself. So when you begin to see the worth of self, right? When you begin to see Ashe, when you begin to, thank you, Angela, when you begin to see the worth of self, then you're going to begin to bring things, and then there's going to be a polarized version to test you to say whether or not if you really truly think that you are worthy. But then when you really are truly fully integrated with the understanding of your worth, you're going to recognize that little test that comes to you to try to tell you something different, right? And you're going to recognize it for what it is, and you're going to say to it, I respect the fact of you reminding me of a reality that I no longer prefer, because you're going to now begin to recognize, because you're so founded into the frequency of who you are in truth, then when these little reminders come in to ask permission to be a part of your reality, you're going to be able to clearly define vibrationally what that is when you become solidly integrated into the truth of you and recognizing who you are in truth. So there are so many different beautiful modalities that are out there, you guys, that you guys can begin to take part in. And know that there is blueprints everywhere. Sit down and have a conversation with yourself. Close your eyes and say, even though you are who you are, there's another version of you that is operating in a reality that you may want to experience, right? And even though there is so much different types of, how can I say, things to kind of prohibit you from, okay, so like, I'm going to use a catalyst right now. One of the major catalysts is Elon Musk, what's his name? Donald Trump. Everybody has got so much energy towards hating a person. And I'm choosing to find out what is good about a person that I can benefit from, because I understand that they're both polarities in these individuals, in that particular dynamic. Both polarities exist. I can just choose to focus on what polarity that I want to experience, because I understand that both polarities exist. So where's my equilibrium in understanding Donald Trump? Where's my equilibrium in understanding the self that we call Donald Trump, the understanding the self that we call Elon Musk, understanding the self that you call Divine Words of Wisdom, understanding the self that you call Michael Jackson, understanding the self that you call all of these other particular types of celebrities that we love to hate, right? What is it that I can find? All right, to give you an example of what took place, with knowing thyself and moving in your own accord versus moving from an emotional stance of the collective mind. Because when you are moving into the Godhead, that changes the whole dynamic of how you're perceiving the reality. There was a video that was on YouTube to say that how we are making billionaires our God, right? We're making billionaires our God. And I agree, but I agree in a different element of vibrational sense of understanding. It's not that we're making them gods. It's that they have chosen to operate from their God essence of being, right? Which is the confidence in knowing that they have the ability to create their own reality. And what creates a reality and affords them reality that they are experiencing is when they are giving something that is of value to the other versions of themselves, right? They're giving something that is of value to the other versions of themselves. All right. So what does that mean, Patrice? What are they giving to the people? You're driving their cars. You're renting their you're renting their places, right? You're going on to their jobs that they've created, their companies that they've created, right? You're exchanging your time, for money. You have to begin to operate from your Godhead in order for any type of lower mind to perceptualize you as a God. Because if you're not moving really from your God space or your Godhead, then you are moving from a subserviency of self, of the self, the ultimate self. So the ultimate self has the Godhead, and the ultimate self has the subserviency of self. And what role does the self of self want to play to mirror itself, to experience itself? And if you guys don't understand what I'm saying, let me know and I will break it down to the best of my ability. But if you get what I'm saying, then you know that the divine self has created reflections of itself to experience itself in polarity, right? To experience itself in its God state or understanding, as well as in its lower state of understanding on so many different vibrational levels. And so therefore, you in wholeness, you know that you have the ability that can afford you to pick, choose, and refuse how you want to cultivate that reality. But the only way you know that you can pick from over here as well as pick from over there, you have to take the limitation pretenses out of the equation and know that you're not limited to just the lower mind. You also have the ability to afford you the operational value of your higher mind. And so when you start operating in your Godhead, you can pick, choose, refuse, and cultivate the reality that you want to experience that garners balance of both polarities. It got the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. There's an equilibrium that comes in the midst of that. But only way you're going to understand that is when you begin to operate from the God mind. The creational value. Being strong in a space of understanding of how to create your own relative reality by how you see fit. A lot of us, when we're doing these affirmations and all of these many different things, a lot of times we are at a point now where we're operating from a desperate state, right? Because we have afforded ourselves a reality that we did not really prefer to experience, but we were in agreement to experience. Thus why it was an experience for you. So therefore, by the time we done, said enough is enough, we're in a vibrational pretense that of desperation. So now we're trying to pull ourselves up out of the, out of the mud, right? So, but that still houses a vibration of desperation. So now we're moving into, the how can I say, we're moving into the essence of, affirmations and, doing rituals and, all of these many different, other vibrational modalities that you're energetically stacking yourself with in order to leverage yourself to come out of a vibrational state that you no longer prefer. Hi, Cosmos. Hola, hola, eh, hola, hola, eh. Cosmos in the building now. Cosmos in the building now. Welcome, Cosmos. Cosmos is in the building. Gratitude, my brother, for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I am so divinely grateful to have you, and welcome, welcome, welcome. And let me know, you guys, if you guys overstand what I'm saying, because sometimes I understand myself and it may sound confusing to others, and I want to be able to offer a sense of clarity so that you guys can begin to really understand that how you see yourself matters, and not in a lower mind sense of matters. What I mean, how you see yourself is what materializes, right? So the video that I saw with the young lady saying that we're making these billionaires our God, right? She gives a breakdown of how that actually commences. But it's true to a certain extent. It's not that we're making them the God. They have chosen to operate from their Godhead, right? Their higher mind, right? So they understand operating in your higher mind. You have an understanding that you can pick both from you can pick both from the liberated version of self as well as the limited version of self. You could pick from the freedom of how can I say? You could pick from the you could pick from both the liberated and the limited version of self. You could pick from one side of you could pick from the polarity that you prefer, but you can also pick from a polarity that you don't prefer, because there may be something within that template and that blueprint in that polarity, energetic polarity, that you may want to experience. So the God in the Godhead is that I can pick and choose from any aspect of being. So, but if you're operating from the limited mind, yes, you're going to find supportive, information, the economics and the structures of 1936 and, J. Rockefeller, whatever his name, and the Vanderbilts and all of that. Oh, yes, all of that commenced itself to be a viable sense of understanding to refer to that of the lower mind. But yes, it's still viable because people are still talking about it. So as long as there's a soul essence still communicating it in the lower mind, then it's going to be a viable reality. But the reason why these particular types of beings, or what you would perceive as billionaires, or whatever the case may be illusionistically looking as if they are our gods, is because you have chose to be the servant vibrationally. Because the only way you're going to see them above you is if you've chosen to remain in the limited version of you, and you can't see yourself in that space. That's the only way you're going to be able to accept the value of them being your God. Because people like me ain't accepting that, because I understand I can go on both sides of the equation. I know I gotta dust off some of these frequencies that I have been in acceptance of, that has been I fully integrated with, because I didn't see the value of myself at the level that I should have seen the value of myself. I'm quick to tell you that. But the only way people are going to see them as gods is if you have chosen the road to be that of subserviency in the limited mind. Okay, and I'm not saying that that's bad, but it's because of the limited way of understanding that you're choosing to experience reality from the limited self. That's the only reason why you're going to think that something that is at that particular type of calibration that is expressing is that of a God. But he's operating in this God mind because he's being of service. He's being of service. He's creating realities that people want to experience by him operating in his God head, in his God mind. You too can operate in your God self and begin to be of service and offer a service to that which people will begin to patronize you, or begin to want to know your information, because you're offering a service to them. You're offering something to them. Okay? We are interconnected. We are of service to each other on every level that you can imagine. But it's very hard to understand that in the limited mind when you are still operating from the illusion of separation, that everything is separate from you. And then to create more separation, you begin to define, I don't like that person because he's an asshole. But just as well as he's an asshole, there may be something within that asshole's template on a different polarity that could afford you a different reality if you focus on an aspect of that particular type of being that could afford you the reality more so than focus on an aspect of that being that could keep you away from the reality that you want to experience, because you will not see the good in anything if you're working from a limited mind. It's going to be like what you see is what you get, or what it is that is perceived to be consistent. That especially if you're dealing with media, I don't oftentimes how can I say say that media is always correct, because like I said, I done been lied on. I done been lied on, grossly lied on, and I know that it was a full throttle lie, and the way that affected me personally, in terms of people believing in the lie without even coming to me to find out my version of what the truth is. So I know how contaminating that could be. I had that experience, so I'm not quick to run to say, oh, you heard what such and such said, blah blah blah. If I was not there to attest or account to that a particular type of experience, I'm not quick to believe in it. Right? I'm not quick to give it validation, because it could be true, it could not be true. I can't concise and say that it is, because I was not there. And with me being in an experience where I know it was a bold-faced lie, I knew it was a bold-faced lie, but yet it's still no one came to me to find out whether or not what was my version of the account. No one, absolutely no one. And people was petrified to be around me because of the type of people that had done put that word out about me. So it's polarized. It's polarity in everything. In your God mind, you take pieces of the puzzle. You don't look at what's good and what's bad. You look at what is beneficial to you, of how you want to create your reality, because it's pieces of the puzzle, and you understand that both aspects in a reality that is moving from limited and liberated and limitation, okay, polarity, right? You picking from all angles, all sides, right, to create the whole. That's why I end up saying to you guys that I'm everything. Cosmo says, yes, separation, different rate of vibration. Yes. Now, what happens is that when you're sitting in your mental mind in the Godhead, right? When you're operating from your God mind, and you understand that, okay, now I have the ability to be able to decipher energetically, vibrationally, what is going to, afford me the reality that I want to experience, right? Because you're in creation mode. You know that you are now creating the reality. So it's just like buying furniture for a house. What am I going to choose? How do I want this house to look? How do I want that house to look? How do I want this room to look? How did I want that room to look, right? So you're not just trying to say, oh, I'm only going to pick on the good side. If you are truly a God, you're going to pick out of everything that you like. Whether somebody else likes it or not, that's not relevant. It's what you like and what it is you want to experience. And there may be something in Jay-Z that I like, that I want to experience, that he housed the template for, right? And all I got to do is just watch and see what it is that he's doing and how he's moving. Like, I realize certain things, like when he made the 40/40 Club. Now, I don't know what the 40/40 Club means to him in terms of why he utilized 40/40, but I do know that if I was to kind of like be allegorical to understanding it from a different level of consciousness, he took 140 out because it's 40, 40, 40. 40 years old, 40 years, and 40 something else when you're working for a brick and mortar company, right? It's 40, 40, 40, but he did 40, 40. So he took 140 off of it. I can't remember exactly what the 40, 40, 40 identified, but all you got to do is Google it and it'll tell you what the 40, 40, 40 mean. 40/40/40. But he took one of the 40s off. So you begin to kind of like understand vibrational moves like that. You understand what I'm saying? When you begin to, but if I just hated him all the way live and in color, like, I wouldn't be able to see the value that he could bring to my own understanding, to how I really relatively want to create a reality. And, I understand that we have been taught to be partial, but sometimes that partiality can, stagnate your growth, because sometimes, certain people have certain templates of blueprints and you don't like them. You can't get past your anger, your emotional anger. You can't. So if you can't get past that emotional, amplification of the motivation of the reality that's going to bring it into fruition, you're not going to be able to see the good. You're just not, because the emotion is the amplification, right? That's going to bring however you feel about anything, not just people alone, but about anything. That's why I had to reverse the polarity on an experience that I was experiencing. And I had to say, you know what? I could be mad or angry about this, or I could be happy about it. Cosmo says, and that so many people blinded from their emotional charges given by what they see. Yes. Instead of going by what they internally know. And I'm here to quail that, but I understand how to quail it. And I'm going to offer that resolution to many folks that are going to become in alignment with me to be able to experience. Sorry about that, my phone. Hold on just a second, you guys. Yes, it's what you know. It's what you know within, deep within. That's why the labeling thing is so, I'm utilizing the labeling as a key essential thing for you guys to begin to clean up how you see yourself. Because like I said, to give you an example, right? They call me, and I know this, and I'm not saying this offensively. If for those of you guys who is going to take offense because I say I'm not a black woman, you're not listening to what I'm saying. And I want to clearly clearly define what it is. I said the current labeling that they have to calling us black. We're not black. According to the definition of black, this screen is black. Okay? Do I look like this band right here? Is this a true color of me? This is black. If I put this to my skin, does my skin match what black really looks like on the color scale? It does not. So when they ask me, am I black? I'm agreeing to something that is not true. I'm not black. When you see a Caucasian person, this is white, according to the color scale, right? When you put this up against the skin color of somebody and you see two different things, so are they truly white? So they're getting to us to agree to a label that is not true. Well, Divine, that's what they call us. No, it's not what they call me, it's what I answer to. If you call me black and I understand this to be black, so to me, no, I'm not black. I'm a human experience, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I'm a spiritual being experiencing polarity. I'm a spiritual being experiencing everything that I create. I'm a spiritual being creating what I perceptualize the labels to be. How I identify the color, the beautiful color black, is this. So you don't understand the vibrational connotation of what has actually took place. They're getting you to agree to something that is not true. You have to understand that. Not go along to get along. Well, it's been like that for 400 years. Yeah. And look at where it has gotten us vibrationally, because we are believing in something that does not show itself to be true. It ain't even about whether I think it's true or not. It's what it shows itself not to be true. Now, one might say again, well, what about the ones that say they're a boy and they're a girl and they're a girl and they are a boy? Well, truth be told, it's how they see themselves. And if that's how they see themselves, who am I to say anything different? Now, it's one thing to say that the society may not be ready to accept that value of understanding that it's your divine choice, to identify how you want to experience and express. And you have to be strong enough to go against the grain of what, the current environment is saying collectively to be true. It is. And it's not to say that it's hard or it's easy. It's just your authentic self, the authenticity of you. And when you get into the space of being authentic, then you're not going to care about what nobody else says, because your authenticity is your truth. It's your true reality. Now, as far as the labeling and different things of that concern, I understand that is a tough cookie. That is a tough cookie to break, because, like I said, there's a lot of, there's a variety of many different other versions of selves that would look at you and be like, you have lost your ever-loving mind. And if I were to respond to something like that to myself, is like, no, I found it. I found my truth. I found who I am. And you don't even have to give it a response on whether or not if anybody agrees with you or not. Hell, you don't even have to really even let nobody know that you move different than what, the majority of reflections or other beings of you actually choose to create in their reality. And only a person in the Godhead is going to understand that. Like, for instance, if we all come with gifts. I don't know why it's doing that. We all come with gifts, right? We all come with gifts. Now, are you aware of what your gift is? Just sit back and think about something that you used to do as a child. It used to be effortless for you to do, right? Or even something that you may be able to do now that you put on the back burner and you don't do it, or whatever the case may be, right? There are many of you that know how to do so many different things. And a lot of times somebody might say, it's so many of us doing the same thing and all this other kind of stuff. You can't worry about that, because you is you. You have an energy signature that affords you exclusivity to be your own divine creative self. And if you watch what others is doing instead of motivating yourself for what you are doing, then the energy that you're giving somebody else in competition, you could take that same energy and invest in yourself and make you more valuable to be of service to others. We all have divine gifts, all of us. It's just that you just have to decide whether or not if you're going to make what these eyes see bring you down, weigh you down, and keep you away from, what it is that you truly are, or are you going to look at yourself and see that this is a beautiful thing that I have here. How can this be of service to others? I have a plethora of wealth of information. How can this be of service to each other, right? And not of my other versions of selves. You would be amazed if you moved into your own essence of authenticity, how this can afford you the reality that you truly want to experience and express. So, my key thing here today, in terms of blueprints, in terms of, billionaires being gods and different things of that nature, in terms of templates, is that in wholeness, you'll be able to understand that both polarities exist. And through liberation, you understand you can pick, choose, and refuse from either side of the polarity. But in limitation, you're not going to even want to give the other side of the equation any life, because you're so limited in terms of, your emotional charge that limits you from exploring the wholeness of the being, of the experience, of the totality. As I said earlier, this experience that I experienced lit a fire underneath my ass. I am so, I have totally flipped the poles on what has transpired, and I am so grateful now that it has actually happened, because had it not happened, I would not have been able to see the polarity of opportunity that exists for me, that could afford me now a different reality than that to which I was currently in. You understand what I'm saying? So, everything, every great cloud, they says, what that saying, every great cloud has a silver lining or something like that, or whatever the case may be, however you want to understand it or whatever. Yes, right? I'm grateful now for that person, and I'm so grateful for the experience that the person that I literally thought that I was this close from actually saying that I hate, I actually now love her. I truly can say that I love her. And let me tell you why I can truly say that I love her. It's because she decided to play a role to get me into a space, vibrational space, that I truly desire to be in. Because had it not been for her being in that vibrational state, right? For whatever the reasons are, then I would not have seen the value in myself the way that I do now. So I have because now I understand the essence of the polarity and how it actually complements each other in the essence of spiritual growth. I'm grateful now. And a couple of months ago, you would not have ever heard me say this. Truth be told. And it's only because it's not what they call you, it's what you tell yourself. Labeling can either work for you or work against you, right? If you have a label that is calling you something that you know that you are not, then you do not have to accept that label. If somebody says that you're poor, or okay, to give you an example, right? They have a measurement. They have what is it called? Lower class, low class, middle class, high class. They have different classifications, right? Right? So let's say in the illusion, right? My bank account probably says I only got $2. Okay? Even though that's what the illusion says. So the definition within the illusion that if you own food stamps and you own whatever you're impoverished, right? You're at poverty line. I don't have to believe that. I don't have to believe that label. You know how many people didn't believe that labeling, and they use that same concept as leverage to be in a space that they're in. To give you an example, we're going to talk about Jay-Z again. Jay-Z in the Projects. The Projects is the epitome to show that of poverty. But here you got an individual that was born in the projects, but didn't take that to be a truth. He used it as leverage to ascend him into a vibrational state of an experience that he knew who he is, regardless to what the external was reflecting and projecting to him. So just because they have brought out certain socioeconomic standards to give you a measurement that if you fall in that classification based off of the external things, you don't have to take that labeling, no matter how true this reality has afforded. Just like being a big kid. Yes. I say to myself, I got a one rising, and I say, wow, this reality tries to tell me and remind me every day that I'm 51 years old. And I say to myself, but I feel like a kid. So am I going to let what the external version of how they understand me through chronologically or something like that? Am I going to allow that to be that of to which, they say that I am biologically, or am I going to live vicariously through, my inner child and still be a kid, even at 80 years old? I may not be able to walk and dance like I used to, but I'm still going to try because I'm still feel that youthful self, even though my biological may have a presentation of something entirely different, because who I am is still going to ultimately be visible, right? Because it's not even what the biological tell me, unless I, become, fully, incapacitated or something like that or whatever. But as long as I'm able, then I'm going to be my true self regardless. It's not what you tell me, is what I tell myself, right? So the labels, say, oh, you black. Oh, no, I ain't black. This black. So change the labels. Then maybe I will agree with it. Oh, you're a double minority. I ain't no damn double minority. Last time I checked, is more women than it is men, right? How am I a double minority? Because I'm black? Well, clearly I'm not black. And then you're a woman? Well, clearly there's more women than there are men according to your statistics. So how am I? I'm not going to agree to these labels. I don't care how true y'all done made them. Is it true for me? No. Now, there are some labels that I may agree to. You are a successful entrepreneur. I'll agree to that. Right? Hi, sincere. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful to have you, and welcome. Thank you for being here. Right? So I'm just giving you, now you're taking the wheel. Now you're taking your power back. Now you're beginning to understand things to that to which who you are versus that to which you have been told to be. You have been told to be a black man. You have been told to be a black woman. But the last time I checked, this is what black looks like, and this is what black looks like up against me. So am I truly black? This is what I understand black to be. So am I truly black? Hell no, I'm not black. I'm an energetic being with an energy body that has chosen this reality to experience and express myself, the self, in polarity. Now, I know that probably gonna go over a lot of people's head, but that's who I am first, foremost, always and forever. I'm an energy body Sincere says, Divine done it once again, speaking truth. Oh, Sincere. I'm grateful. Yes, I'm speaking my truth. Yes, my truth. Now, I'm not here to tell nobody what to do or whatever the case may be, but I am here to example, what that may look like and what that can look like for you and what that could afford you by being in this space, right? It's not what they tell you who you are, unless that truly is okay. So then now, this is the key thing. So because being black, right, which they had us to agree to something that we were not, it had a negative connotation to be that, to which of to be black, to even to this day, right? Even to this day, right? They had us to agree to it. Then what do? We try to change the polarity and say, black is beautiful. Black is beautiful, right? This is what we try to do. We want to say, okay, black is beautiful. But the key thing is you ain't black. Just like Caucasian people are not white. I'm trying to give you something, what labels are. These are examples. These are very, very powerful examples because this is very controversial, right? People are going to be like, what the living shit, right? But I'm trying to show you, this is white, right? Put this up against a Caucasian person and then say, are they really white? No. So the identifying aspect of the reality is that they are saying in the reality that I am something that I clearly am not. We have hues. We have hues. There are many different vibrational hues of light. Now, if you want to change and say the hue of light, then I can rock with that label. But not in the essence of separation, absolutely not. Because what you have gotten me to agree with is something that is not true for me. This is not true. This is black. Do this black, match this black. They say I'm black, y'all. They had us to agree to a negative connotation, or what we perceptualize as negative. And to this day, and then we try to now say black is beautiful. But the key thing is, are you black? So now you are agreeing to something that is not true to begin with. And now you are expecting me now to say, well, Patrice, that's how it's been to the beginning of time. No. Because last time I checked, within deep down inside Buddy Love, we are of many hues. Many hues. So why are you conglomerating me into this one specific aspect to which there are so many hues to show otherwise of the same classification? So no, it's not a truth for me. So no, I won't identify as being black, because this is black and I don't look black. This is what I identify as white. This is what I identify as white. And Caucasian people don't even look like this. Okay? So they got us to agree with something that was not even visibly true. Now, I will get to say that, okay, let's say, for instance, well, Patrice, back in the day, we were blacker than the Ace of Spades. But are we that now? So why are we agreeing to it? So at the end of the day, for those who were blacker than the Ace of Spades, then maybe that was appropriated because maybe they did look black. They did. This black matched the hue of them, right? Maybe they did look like this hue. But is that to say that's what it is now? Not for me, no. They're causing division. Go off color for being human. Well, yes, it does create divisiveness, but then also too, it's the vibrational aspect of how that is understood. Now, one may say blackness it's the void, it's creation. That is a powerful thing. But then say that you are etheric. You are dark matter energy. Because see, the thing of it is this: if it clearly defines what black is, then that puts your ass back in power. You put that label and that definition onto it, that I'm dark matter energy, right? That the creation of value, and that's why they call me black. No, okay, I can rock and roll with that. Hi, Leather Flower Design. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely choosing my frequency. I am so divinely grateful to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Kids don't care. They don't. They really don't, Sincere. They do not care. They don't. They don't see the shit that we see. That truly has to be indoctrined. Clearly by example, environment, and exposure. Because if left alone, and they're not contaminated with those particular types of ideologies, they don't see, like my kids right now, they don't see gay, and they don't see that shit. My kids don't see that. They don't see if you're gay, if you're black. They don't see that stuff. They're clearly okay with what they are, and what they desire to be, in their choice and their preference and different things of that nature. They don't care. They don't care about that stuff that we used to, have a problem with and different things of that nature. They ain't grow it. They are not. They are so freely liberated from certain aspects of being that I'm so grateful that they are there to example that. Right? And like I said, I am not telling nobody that you have to stop telling yourself that you're black, or you have to stop telling yourself that you're white. I'm not saying that. I'm utilizing that as an example to show that labels, you don't have to agree with what the label is. And if the label is clearly something that you do not define as to be yourself, then just because the majority or the collective mind is in agreement with it, that don't mean that you have to be. Because ultimately you are creating your relative reality by how you perceptualize that particular type of energetic anomaly. And I'm not going to be in agreement with something that is not authentically me, that I don't see myself to be. And I understand that even that particular thing has a negative connotation to it because of how it has what the people do actually agree with. It wasn't even enough power for you to say black is beautiful. The reason why it did not matriculate in the way that it could have potentially matriculate, because when you look at yourself, you're not black. It doesn't apply. And if it did apply, where there were beings that were this color, it no longer applies. Now, if you're going to change the label of black to say that you are an etheric being that's coming from dark creational matter, oh, I can get down with that. I can get down with that. And this is the reason why the essence of you in this experience is being afforded that understanding of a reality in creational value. I can rock and roll with that high vibrational sense of understanding. But if you're just calling me black and then there's a negative vibrational negative connotation to it, hell the fuck no, I'm not in agreement with that. Change the definition. Change the definition of the labeling. Change the vibrational definition of the labeling, and maybe you might get me to agree with the experience that comes along with it. You see how that goes when you operate from the Godhead and you understand polarity and you know that you can pick, choose, and refuse because of the essence of the wholeness of you, because you're all things as with the preference of preferring a particular type of relative reality vibrationally, but you realize that you're everything and nothing. You are a divine creator and co-create of your relative reality. This is why there's a video right now that says, they're making these billionaires gods. It ain't that we're making these billionaires gods, it's that we're choosing to operate from a limited version of self. So because we are operating from a limited version and they're operating from a limitless state of being, then our perception of that is what makes you think that they're gods. But no, they're just operating from their Godhead. They're operating from their higher mind. They're operating from a higher essence of being in terms of how they understand their now moment. They're not limited because of here. Not because of money, it's because of their state of being, how they see themselves. Money is a byproduct of who you are. That's what that is. Wealth is a byproduct of who you are. Monetarily, physical return is a byproduct of who you are. Because you have to see yourself wealthy in order for it to materialize in a manner to which this reality materializes wealth. You have to already be what you want to see. So if there's an aspect of a version of self that is looking at them as God, that's because you have chose to operate from a limited mind to where you are thinking because they're operating in limitlessness. You feel that you are limited because that's the only way you would say some bullshit like that. I mean, no disrespect, but I'm just saying. I understand by looking at that same anomaly. I'm like, okay, they operating from all aspects of their states of being. They have afforded themselves vibrationally to be in alignment with certain vibrational blueprints and templates that has afforded them the reality that they are creating right now. By example, they've utilized everything that they possibly could to be creators, to offer a service of self by their creation. That's power. They decided to step into their creational mode in realization of it. And they don't let no labels define them. They create the labels. They're the ones sitting at the label machine creating the labels. This means this means that, this means this means that. And so they put that shit out there, and then now you, the being, right, is going to decide whether that label is true or not. And they're going to just keep creating labels, and then there's going to be beings that's going to be like, okay, that applies to me, that applies to me. But meanwhile, they're creating labels. They're in creation mode, just creating it all. Shit. They're creating everything, every possibility that they can, that can tangibilize in this relative reality. They're doing it in their Godhead, just a whole creating machine. When Mark Zuckerberg, whatever his name is, when he was creating Facebook, the story that came out when he was creating Facebook, he aligned himself with high velocity geniuses to afford him the reality that he's created. But a lot of people have a hard time with these particular type of beings because you don't understand what has went into it. And yes, it's always going to be a backdrop story where they may have divulged themselves into aspects that you may not agree with. But see, the thing is that they're not looking at that being how you are understanding it in a limited mind. They're looking at it in wholeness of a polarized situation, and they're choosing and refusing out of a higher vibrational sense of polarity and a lower vibrational sense of polarity, pulling the resources from all that is to create the reality that affords them the reality that they want to experience, because they're not limiting themselves. Oh, I'm only going to operate from this one side of the polarity. Oh, I'm only going to operate from that one side of the polarity. Both sides of the polarities have advantages of affording you a reality that you truly want to experience. Both. They're not limiting. Only a God mind individual will understand that and operate from that state of being. That's the only reason why you can sit here in this space and say that, oh, they act like they're gods and everything. Yeah, pretty much, because they ain't limiting themselves. And the very thing that you don't like about them is not going to afford you the reality because you're so limited. I don't like that about them, so I'm just going to cut myself off. When there's another side of them in polarity that also exists that may afford you a reality, but you're so stuck in the limited version of mind and how to understand self within self, you won't even afford yourself the ability to explore that template of that aspect of being that could afford you a reality that you want to experience. I understand that you don't have to understand it the way that I'm understanding it. I get that. I'm only sharing myself to give you guys a different perspective of how I understand the same anomaly of what you guys understand to be. Just at a different perspective, right? Or a different perception of being. Sincere said, Divine, can that cycle be broken? The only cycle that there really truly is the cycle that is within. So if you break the cycle within, then the illusion will reflect the cycle being broken. And so for me, I'm breaking the cycle within, and so therefore the reflection is showing that the cycle is becoming broken. Because you are creating the reality that is showing a consistency of the cycle. When you break the cycle within, then it will reflect what you have decided for it to be in creation. It will then begin to show itself broken. Ninja say, so cute as always. You literally look 19 today. I am not messing with you, Ninja. Thank you. He's Hercules. But see, that's what I'm talking about, right? And I always try to, put you in the age factor. But you know what? Thank you, though. I was just talking about that. I feel like a kid. So I'm so grateful that you said. I just said that earlier on in the live. I'm like, I don't feel, everybody trying to make me feel like, try to remind me that I'm 51. I had somebody in my life that was constantly trying to remind me that I'm 51 years old. And I'm like, God damn it, why is it that, I don't talk about it. So why? I don't want to hear that shit. I feel like a kid. Cosmos said, I don't know what you said. To Cosmos. You are not controlled by these entities. Exactly. Right. I realized that they are me. And they're just creating from infinite possibilities. Regardless on what vibrational scale it resides itself to be, whether it's on the higher vibrational mind, they operate, but the only way that they know that they can pull from each aspect of the pot, no matter where it is that you got to be in your higher mind to know that all is accessible. When you are operating from your limited mind, you think that only some things are accessible, right? I concur. Laugh out loud, a big ass kid. Yes, I'm a whole kid, yo. Like, I'm crazy, mad crazy like a kid. I feel so youthful. I do feel youthful. I feel youthful, like, for real, I do. Sometimes I feel so youthful that I can't believe. I'm like, damn, I chose a reality that, you do age, but I don't feel like what this reality is saying that I am. I don't feel like that. Happy born day, Ninja. You 51 and you feel 20. Yes. And it's energies too. All of this beautiful energy that's coming onto the plane. That probably got a lot to do with it too as well. You do look youthful and rejuvenated. Oh, I'm grateful. I have my days now. Now this ponytail, gives you an instant facelift. Y'all don't want to see me with this when I ain't in this ponytail. Y'all be like, I take that back. Y'all be like, I don't know. I used to be in that mindset until interacting with other races. Yes, you interacting with yourself. If we begin to understand, if we stop, okay, you're glowing today, big time. I am. Okay, I'll take it. Yay. And y'all ain't never seen, our weather here in South Florida doesn't really permit me to wear this type of stuff. So I do look like I'm, I got this actually from Orlando, Florida, because Orlando is actually cold enough. I mean, when I say this thing is thicker than some thick grits, I mean, this is really thick and heavy. And so it's not often I get an opportunity to wear, this type of gear, because I'm always trying to be all, toes out and, all, like girly and everything, right? That's all I need, cause where my backpack at? Then I'll be full throttle, right? I'll be fully engaged into the look. All right, I know you're right. I ain't got nothing. Oh, wow! Boom, shakalaka. I do got a backpack. I do got a backpack. It's right there in the back of my truck of my car. Hell no, you say what about? I do got one. I just forgot. Oh God. You are shining today, Mr. Vine. Well, thank you. Okay. I'll take it all. I'm grateful. As well as you guys are shining too, if I saw y'all. I'm grateful. My wife haven't really aged an inch since high school. See, I'm telling you, it's you. If them labels is gonna either make you or break you. You are the defining choice. Thank you, whoever giving me all this love. I'm grateful. Thank you. Them labels is going to clearly define you, or you're gonna either allow it to define you, or you define yourself, because they will either make you or they will break you, right? God, frequency, and welcome. I'm grateful. Thank you, guys. But yes, it is, how can I say, it is your divine choice in terms of how you understand yourself. That's why I said I use race. The reason why I use race, because I want you guys to see how we are agreeing to something that is really not true. But we agree with it because the majority and the indoctrination and the way that we have inherently through constant perpetuation, a constant perpetual aspect of being reminded and reaffirmed through our own essence. Thank you, Ninja. Oh, that's Ninja sending me all those hearts. Y'all got to see all these hearts that Ninja is giving me right now, and all the stuff that's coming up, flowing up, the floating hearts. Thank you, Ninja. I'm grateful. The reason why I'm using this as an analogy is because I want us to show ourselves of what we agree to that is not necessarily true. I don't care how founding or how far back you can go back to kind of solidify and validate to be true. Is this true for you? So because this is not true for me, this is what black look like to me. If I put this up into my skin, am I black? No, I'm not. Well, Patrice, that's the way the world says that you are, and you're just gonna have to. I ain't got to accept shit. Now, you might think that you gotta accept it. I ain't got to accept nothing. Now, I can be in the reality and still move on my own accord in terms of how I see myself, and I don't have anything to say to those or about those who are choosing to be in agreement to be labeled as this. I can operate like that because I understand that it's their divine choice to agree with the experience that comes along with being black. There is an experience that comes along with being black. There's a vibrational experience that comes along with being black. And until they change the narrative of what black means in this reality, I'm not agreeing with it. I am a divine. I don't have to agree with what you tell me, because I know who I am. I am a divine. And make it worse, I am a divine is. I am a God is. God is. Hey, Sandy. Gratitude. Oh, good. Hercules. Hey, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful to have you. Yes, I'm a God that is goddess. God is this. God is that. I am. I don't have to agree with something that I clearly am not. Look! That vibration, that being black thing holds a vibrational connotation. Now, how do you understand being black? How do you even understand being African American? Like, where do they do that at? How do you understand that? Oh, well, we came on the boats. I ain't never came on no damn boat. Oh, how you go just disregard the ancestors? Well, the last time I checked, the ancestors is within me. That's how I answer that. I'm just saying. So why am I still identifying with something that is not relative to me? When I understand that being black thing, Black Lives Matter, black, when it holds a whole frequency. So no, you're not going to get me to agree with that reality and what that reality affords you to experience. No, you're not going to get me to agree to that. But I understand that that is a viable reality that many of you agree to experience. So I get those who want to experience it because it's your divine right to have that experience. And that's why it's viable. I'm just saying. Patrice, I love you too, Cindy. I love you too. Thank you, Mama. Cosmo says, same things. The ancestors aren't here dealing with Trump. So why we take on and that and give it conviction? Well, Trump is a polarized. Okay, so this is the thing. Like, I'm going to get back and say it again, right? I don't believe everything that has been placed out there for public consumption. I don't believe it. I am one to have experienced engineered reality to destroy my credibility and who I am as a person. Straight up lie. Engineered by a big conglomerate to a point where people were afraid to even speak to me because they didn't, not because they knew, right? Not because they knew that it wasn't true, but because they did not want to afford themselves the same ridicule by being associated with me. They didn't want to go through what I was going through. I was labeled a troublemaker. I was labeled a person that was aggressive. I was labeled a person that used excessive profanity. And when I said to them, run the tape to exonerate me, they would not. Run the tape. Everything that you are accusing me of is not true. Run the tape. And they would not, because they knew that it would be exonerate me. So I am the last person to say that I'm going to believe anything that I have not seen for myself. The last. Because I've experienced it. And you won't know until you experience it. So I don't believe, I say it could be not. Hey, Third Eye, gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. Thank you for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Rather be a student. Yes, you could, the thing of it is like I said, God operates from all aspects of being because they are aware that they're not limited to anything. So therefore, they're going to pick, choose, and refuse how they cultivate their reality and what can afford them the reality that they want to experience. What can afford them the reality that they want to put in a part of their creational value. To give you an idea of what that looks like. When you have a witch and she's creating witch's brew, she used a pig nose, a hair off a chin of a monkey's ass. She used some bubble guts. She used all kind of shit. A dove, she used a dove feather, and she used, the angel's essence of its breath. So she's pulling from all angles of light to create her witch's brew. Because in the God essence of knowing, you're not limited. She believes it all, and it is what she chooses. Exactly. Right, Cosmos is in the building. I understand that this lump, right, that I'm giving you guys, right, I understand that it is that oh my God, she done lost her ever loving mind. What in the God's creation is she saying? Right? But you can't say that my crazy ain't been consistent. I have been consistently delusional. You can't say that divine words of wisdom, I have been consistently crazy, because I've been seeing the same all the time. I ain't changed my stance. And as a matter of fact, because of what I'm saying, right, it has just kind of more evolved itself for me to be more true than not. Hola, Abdul-Abdin. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful to have you. Somebody laughing at me. Yeah, my crazy ain't changed. My delusional ass ain't changed, right? I'm still crazy, according to you guys, or whatever, how you see me. But it ain't what it ain't what y'all say, is what I tell myself. But I find it comical. I find it, aloof that it, that you guys, are offended by it. But I get why. I get why. I understand that, because shit, if I'm in my 50s, 60s, and 70s years old, And I've been told the same shit different every day for the last 51 years or 60 years or whatever the case may be. I would look at probably, if I was in a different mindset, I would look at somebody like they done lost their mind. Do this girl know what the hell she's saying? Yeah, I know what I'm saying for me. I ain't telling y'all to believe in nothing that I'm saying. I'm just giving you my perspective of how I am creating my reality and how I'm understanding my reality to afford you the ability to see yourself in the same ability to be able to do that. That's all I'm doing. I'm not telling y'all to be like me, because you could only take from what it is that I'm creating with my signature as a template, because I'm a template. I'm a divine template with the soul that has the ability to create templates for other people to be able to operate from. So, you know, but just like I'm a template, somebody else is a template. But if I limit myself and say, oh, I'm not effing with that because they this and they that, I have been in that space where I realized that did not afford me the reality, because there were some things about this being that could allow me to see myself in a different light, that would allow me to be able to afford myself a reality. And like I said, I don't believe nothing that has been placed out there for public consumption, unless if I haven't experienced it, it could be not. I'm not developing nothing that I can't account for myself. I don't care if a person said to me, well, Patrice, it happened. Okay, I'm a say, okay, it happened. If it happened to you, I'm gonna say, yes, it happened. It happened to you. But at the end of the day, I know deep down that I'm not going to build hatred. Like I've seen some people are like, there are some things you can get extremely ready to, you know, move in a different mind. I can get that, especially when it comes to your children, your relatives and families and different things that you love. You know, there are certain experiences that can take you all the way there. And I get that. Okay. But even with me being aware of that, I still hold the intentions that if I was not there to see it, I don't know for a fact to be true. I only know what is my truth and what is true for me and what has happened to me. So then now one may say, well, Patrice, right? Somebody lied on you. And they did. They did. I know unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, they lied on me. But you know what the divine in me said? The divine in me said, Patrice, is it true? And I said, no, that's why I'm pissed off. That's why I'm mad. Then the divine in me said, well, why make it true? By going to the lower vibration to where that truth reside, why make it true? If it's not true, why make it true? So that's why a lot of celebrities and many different other beings don't even acknowledge a lot of things that comes out about them. They don't even acknowledge it. They just maintain the course of their life and what is true for them. They don't even acknowledge it. And they leave it out there for public scrutiny, consumption, in terms of how it is that they see it or whatever the case may be. But they're strong enough energetically to maintain the integrity of who they are in truth. And they don't even address it. And a lot of times the lower mind might say, oh, it must be true. They ain't saying nothing about it. They don't have to say anything about it, because if they say something about it in the energy to which it was presented, then it could alter their energetic reality by giving permission for it to exist in that way. You got to agree to the experience. And if you don't agree to the experience, it cannot become relative to your reality. I'm just saying. You know, something came to me like, and it's really weird. Like, there's a version, like, say for instance, you have a choice, right? You have a choice to either go left or right. There's a version of me that came to me and said that if I was to take a right turn, there's a version of me that's taking a left turn. If I had Frosted Flakes and Captain Crunch, right? And I chose Frosted Flakes instead of the Captain Crunch. There's a version of me that chose Captain Crunch because I chose Frosted Flakes. I don't know where that came from. So, like with Diddy, and the way that many of the lower mind is experiencing Diddy, there's a whole nother parallel reality where Diddy is nothing. There's nothing like that is actually taking place. I don't know why I thought that. That just came to me. I was like, okay, let me sit down and have a cup of coffee. But that's what came to me. So that reality is only contingent because there are those that want to experience that reality in that regime, in that vibration. And so therefore, that aspect of that being that we call Diddy is affording that reality at the sacrifice of its essence for that experience to commence. Man, I'm telling you, this is some real God shit. Like, I'm really telling you guys, like, this is some really higher, like some really shit. And I'm like, wow. Because there's a version that don't even want to experience that experience because of the vibration that it's in. That too exists as well. And I know I sound real mumbo jumbo right now, but it makes perfect sense to me. So because I'm able to see now multiple realities actually taking place. I'm able to see multiple realities now, man. Because I'm talking it now. I'm telling you about multiple realities. I'm telling you, there's another version of me. If I go left, there's another version of me that's going right. I'm telling you that if there's a vibrational version that is, commencing where people are, having a good time of this person, seeing the person's demise and they're spending time in incarceration, there's a version of that same anomaly where people are enjoying that same essence in a different vibrational state in the freedom or the liberation of being. Everybody belly is getting full energetically to experience vibrational anomalies that they are in agreement to experience. And that was when I thought about that in that way, I was like, whoa, yeah. But it's infinite possibilities. Constable say, yes, I believe that. Wow, okay. I mean, I knew I wasn't expecting anybody to kind of be like, Patrice, like, I know people might say, oh, well, she done really lost it. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back. I may be well, y'all strolling and just in my own mental mind doing the things that I do. And I'll come back to this reality when I feel like it. That's really how I understand my imagination to be so luminous in that way, where I can illuminate light on any aspect of possibility. And it's just really now, being strong and fully integrated into that reality. And I'm telling you guys, man, when you truly, because something happened to me today that brought tears to my eyes because I knew that I had became in an alignment with it. Something else happened to me today that with what I wanted to do, something came out of nowhere to afford me the reality, to give me an opportunity. You say I'm so humorous. I be trying sometimes. I be trying. And something else came in my reality today that I, was like, oh wow. I totally forgot about something and it happened, and I was like, I just sat up here and said, how is this going to take place, right? How's this going to take form? And then I forgot that I had did something, and then voila, it just appeared to this. I said, ain't this a bitch? I'm telling you, you do create your own reality, whatever so you see it. And then thing of it is, it's like, you can't look at it from a perspective like, okay, I can't do this, I can't do that. Because whatever you tell yourself, that is, you're going to draw all men unto you to afford you that reality. You got to say, no matter what the odds are, I can still achieve it. I can still do it. And you'll begin to come in alignment with those that is going to afford you the reality, because you now believe that you can. You but now believe and know that you can. The idea you spoke of with that woman and that poem book sparked something big. And I'm now on the verge of, see, I'm grateful. Look at you. Yes, because I was like so taken, that moved me so much vibrationally, cause I'm really grateful. You are one of those people for me. Oh, I'm grateful. The aligning, yes, you will come into alignment with who you are. And there was a template that was shared with me that I integrated with, that because you are so divinely connected, you're divinely connected to me, that template transcended onto you. This is where our true essence of interconnectedness come into form, because of these particular types of energetic templates that we become integrated with. That's why I say you limit yourself. When you decide to hate somebody so profoundly, that hatred becomes a barrier, because it doesn't afford you the limitlessness of the other version of that aspect in wholeness that you can also to experience. Because guess what? People hate Trump, right? But there's a lot of people that love Trump. Let's just say that Trump is the worst thing since sliced bread. He got children that loves him. He has family that loves him, and he has close friends in proximity that loves him. So there's always going to be a polarity. So you can choose to just stay neutral. I choose to stay neutral in a lot of stuff, because I understand that both sides of the equation exist. Now I'm focused on financial freedom and getting on the right frequency. Well, you know what, Cosmo, let me give you a little tip. Let me give you a little tip about financial frequency. You are financial frequency. You are financial freedom. And your gift is what liberates you. Your divine essence of who you are in truth, and your gifts, your many gifts. That's where in the Bible it says, you know, that they brought many gifts. Well, the many gifts is within you. Whatever you put your mind to do, it's a beautiful thing. And when you are able to see the value of self and the worthiness of self, you will want to share that essence of gift, and it affords you to be able to monetize your gift. But the thing of it is about monetization of your gifts and your talents and different things of that nature, you're just putting it on a platform so that it can take care of itself. If you already know that you are wealthy, then it will produce wealth, right? You peep the esoteric in that. Yes, cause yes. Right? So, you know, it's what you tell yourself. That is what's going to afford you reality. I got another book, you guys, that organizes my thoughts. Like, I have journals, but journals is just freestyle. You're freestyling. Journals, you're freestyling. You're writing down what you're feeling and, you know, your experiences. It's almost like, you know, somewhat of a diary. But I decided to couture my thoughts a little bit more to structure them. And so my sister-in-law bought me this beautiful book that is aligned with who I am spiritually. And so it has a lot of some of the things that I already do within my journal, but it places it in an organized state so that I can you know, write down things that I'm going to do today. Now, the thing about that is that what I love about it is the organization of it, is that whatever I put down that I'm going to do today, right, it's going to show me one or two things. It's going to show me that I'm being productive or I'm being procrastinative, right? So when if there was not an emergency or some sort that could truly alter what it is that I put down on my to-do list to do, if there was nothing drastic that could have potentially altered that could be understandable or understood as to why I didn't get to what I put down on my to-do list, then that means that I can't blame my reality for not changing. I only can hold myself accountable because I put the to-do list and it wasn't no emergency that came along or something that really contributed. I know why I didn't do what I needed to do and was able to tick off or check off on my to-do list. I know why I wasn't able to do it. So now I got to hold myself accountable. So if it wasn't for an emergency or some unexpected event that took place that could alter that from doing that, then everything on you. It's you procrastinating yourself. You're procrastinating yourself. It makes you take ownership and accountability, and you begin to see why your reality looks the way that it looks, because you're procrastinative. Third, I say a river of I can't. Third, I say a river of peace carves through a valley of hope to saturate the land of the mind, to induce a stampede of ideal. I don't know what that word is. Ideal sand, feeding a waterfall of dreams. Well, how I would interpret that off the surface of it is that there's purpose for everything, and so and through divine interconnectedness, it creates these beautiful realities. So the river carves its way to create, another aspect that comes into the mind and ideals and correction. Okay. A river of peace carves through a valley of hope to saturate the land of the mind, to induce a stampede of ideals and feeding a waterfall of dreams. In truth, yes. And there's purpose in everything. So the purpose of the river, right, is to carve its way through the valley. It's poetry. But no, there's purpose into it, in what you're saying. That's just like you waking up and you having your baby, and you have a baby and you're feeding the baby. It's purpose. And so as you feed the baby, because you're feeding the baby and you're nurturing the baby, as a result of that nurturing and different things, it grows, right? And the baby is now growing and different things of that nature. Every little thing that you are doing has purpose. So the river is carving its way to begin a flow and valley through places to nourish other things and aspects of it in its surrounding. It has purpose. Everything has purpose. At least that's how I'm understanding it. Now, I know someone probably will be able to look at that and find a whole nother different understanding to it, but that's how I understand it. And that's his poetry. Third Eye said that's his poetry. Third Eye poetry says, a river of peace carves through a valley of hope to saturate the land of the mind, to induce a stampede of ideals and feeding a waterfall of dreams. Right? Divine purpose. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I'm grateful. All right. You guys, I'm looking like I'm tired and everything. I got so much that I gotta do. But I'm glad that I was able to share this space with you guys. Oh, he was live on YouTube? Wow. What did he say? What was he saying? I haven't, man. I gotta catch up on that, brother. I haven't. I've been so focused and driven on so many different things. I haven't really been like going online and different things like that. But I'm glad, because I'm doing the things that I want to do now. That's going to afford me certain things. So I'm glad. But I miss him though. I do miss him. And every time I think I said I was gonna take time and watch him and stuff like that, I get sidetracked, and I get to doing something else that goes along with what I want to do for myself. And so like my focus is crazy. He was cracking jokes and talking to the people. I wonder if he saved it. I wonder if he saved it or whatever. I wonder if he saved it. Oh, I missed it. All right. Well, because he's in, I don't know where he's at, but I think he's based out of England or something like that. He had a jail camera, and people made fun of that. I've never seen a jail camera. I've never seen a jail camera. Oh my God. What in the world would that look like? Oh, I didn't know there was such a thing as called a jail camera. What the heck does that look like? I thought a camera was a camera. Oh my goodness, they got something called a jail camera. All right, it is what it is. But y'all, I'm going to end here because I've been burning the midnight oil. I'm trying to find an animation app, and I can't find that app. I can't find a good animation app. I thought I purchased an animation app, and it didn't go through. I don't know what happened. It's like erroring out or whatever. So I had to cancel I had to cancel it because I couldn't get it to work. I don't know what to do because I'm so not used to like certain apps and stuff like that. So now I'm going to try to seek a professional that can give me ideas. Yeah, creating animation. Yeah, I want to create animation and stuff, like, just have a variety of different things to put out there, just to see, and put my stories, the things that I've written in my stories and different things of that nature, just put it to the stories, and see how it goes. But I can't find a proper. My vision is the way I envision it. Try who? Fiverr? Okay, I'll try it and see what it does. I was gonna go on ChatGPT to see whether or not if they had any type of recommendations, but I found that ChatGPT is owned by Microsoft. I found so it's only gonna give you I think it's gonna be partial to certain things. That's the exact. Okay, Fiverr. Okay. But I was gonna go and chat GPT to see what was recommended. But I think I'm gonna get me something professional. I think I'm gonna get me a professional software and everything. And yeah. Let me see if I can do that. But all right, you guys, I'm gonna end here. I thank you so much for being a part of my now moment and sharing space with me in synergy. And I hope that you guys get to see and understand what it is that I'm conveying, not with any type of disrespect or any type of malicious intent. It is through the purity of divine unconditional love and a different aspect of how one can see themselves within the power that is vested within their being and truth. Just knowing that you don't have to accept every reality that comes across. And you don't reject it either. You just, understand that it has a right to be. And, it's okay for it to be. It's just that that's not a reality that, like, to give you an example, and I'm going to end, like, you got Bashar. Bashar is promoting a reality for people to invest in. Hi, Nature. They got great hearts. Oh, my God. Hi, Nature World. Hey, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for tuning in. Although I'm about to leave, but thank you for tuning in to my frequency. I'm so grateful. Welcome. But just like Bashar is creating a reality that exists already, and they want essences of beings to energetically invest in that reality. And so, even though he's giving you a wealth of information that can afford anybody can vibrationally attune to where this information resides, if they truly, step out of the limited box and go into the limitless or the liberated version of self, you'll be able to afford yourself to, to come in alignment and understand certain energetic anomalies. But he's promoting aliens and different things of that nature, or that particular type of reality. He understands that the divine self, has to agree. There are versions of the divine self that has to agree to the experience and different things of that nature. And so, of course, if you get more essences of the divine self to agree with the anomaly, then the divine is going to experience that anomaly, or there's going to be a version of a reality that affords the experience to commence. I oftentimes think that when we die, we just wake up as a 5-year-old, or we wake up as a 7-year-old. I remember coming into myself, like realizing that I was here when I was 3 or 4 years old. I think I was about 3 going into 4 years old. And what I remember is it was like a flash, like woof. And I remember, asking my grandmother to give me something to drink. And I don't remember anything prior to that, right? So I think that that's when whatever took place at 3 years old, 4 years old, I integrated into this version of self to what you see here, because that's as far as I can remember, is that the 3-year-old going into 4 years old. So I honestly don't think that we truly die. You know what I'm saying? Even though this reality may experience us in death and different things, but I honestly think that We just wake up as a 5-year-old, or wake up as a 7-year-old or 6-year-old, and we're coming into realization of self. And so here we are. I think that that's what happens, because I don't know what made me go into that too. So I'm just who I am. But I really go into some real deep thoughts. Yours is 5 years of age. Okay, yeah. I don't remember anything prior to that day. And that day I remember asking my grandmother to get me something to drink. When the genius kicked in, okay, the G-R-U-S kicked in, indeed, Mr. Cosmos, I'm telling you, for real. I was like, oh shit. And when I thought about it, I was like, oh shit, I only remember when my grandmama said I couldn't. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I was still sucking a bottle at 3 years old. I know that's bad. I was an only child. Don't charge my heart. You see how I cleaned it up? I was asking my grandmama for something to drink, but really, I was asking for a bottle. I was asking for her to make, I wanted a bottle. And I remember her saying to me, yes, now it's coming back vividly now. I remember her saying to me, you're 4 years old now. You got to stop drinking out of a bottle. That's the real truth. That's some real transparency for your ass. Yes, I sucked the bottle until I was 4 years old. That's some bullshit though, but yes, that's the truth, right? You can let that bitch in that party be a whole embarrassment, right? Okay. But no, that's the truth. That's the truth. It's the truth. That's what I remember. I remember her saying that you gotta. Yes, that's about as much as I remember that day very clearly, very cogently. And I honestly think that that's when I came into the essence of myself in terms of realizing that I was in this reality. And ever since then, I mean, it's just been an experience, right? But anyway, I'm finna come over here before I tell y'all some other crazy. What'd you say? I'm authentic? Yeah. Well, that's gonna be. I don't know how to be nothing other than authentic. So that's who I am. I'm grateful though. All right. I love you guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful, amazing remainder of your day. And I shall commence to talking with you guys one next opportunity to do so. I love you guys immensely. Stay true, stay authentic, and know that you are the divine creator that creates your own relative reality in power. Welcome to the liberating version of self. I love you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. I love you too, cuz. Later.